Before anything else, I want you to do something now. Comment below. I believe in God's financial miracle. Write this with faith, because this isn't just a comment, it's a spiritual act. Now stay with me, because what you're about to hear can completely change your life. Listen to this message in silence, and see what God begins to move in your financial life in the next few hours. It's no coincidence that you're here now. Nothing in the spiritual realm happens by chance. The Spirit of God has brought you to this moment for an encounter with the supernatural. A financial miracle is already on its way. But pay attention to this. Before this miracle appears on the outside, it needs to be born within you. And that's exactly what's going to happen now. Today, a new financial vibration begins within you. A spiritual reprogramming, an activation of the flow of divine provision. Now, take a deep breath. Breathe again. Release slowly. Feel your body relaxing, your mind slowing down, because miracles are born in silence. Faith grows when everything calms down, and God works best when the heart rests. There is something powerful that Napoleon Hill wrote. Faith is the eternal elixir that gives life, power, and action to thoughts. It is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. And today, God is rekindling within you a faith that perhaps time tried to extinguish. You didn't get here by chance. There were days when you thought about giving up. There were days when you looked at your financial situation and felt fear. But listen to this now. God is saying, I never abandoned you. I was preparing you. Everything that seemed like loss was repositioning. Everything that seemed like a delay was preparation. And even the silence was strategy. The Bible says in Romans 8:28, all things work together for good to those who love God. Even the pain, even the difficult moments, everything was part of building what is about to happen. Because now, the harvest time begins. Breathe again. Feel as if the air were light entering you. Each breath is God preparing you for the new. And remember this, poverty and wealth begin in the mind. The financial miracle doesn't begin with money. It begins with faith, with the word, with the way you think. You are entering now a new level of consciousness, where fear begins to leave and confidence begins to enter, where scarcity loses its power and the flow of God begins to manifest. Because understand this, once and for all, God is the source. Money is just a means. Work is just a channel. But provision comes from heaven. The Bible says in Deuteronomy 8:18, is God who gives you the strength to acquire wealth. Is God who gives you ideas. It is God who opens doors. It is God who puts the right people in your path. Now say with me, softly, I recognize God as my source. Once again, I recognize God as my source. These words are like spiritual keys. They are opening invisible doors. Now, you were not born to live limited. Limitation does not come from God. It comes from the beliefs you have accepted. But today, that changes now. Imagine a large field before you. That field is your mind, and each thought is a seed. Some places are dry, others are full of bad things. But now, God begins to blow on that field. He cleans, He prepares, He renews, and say now, I open myself to God's newness. The new is where the miracle happens. The old is where scarcity repeats itself. And today, you decided to change. Because God is telling you, don't wait for everything to be perfect. Start now. Faith doesn't wait for conditions. Faith creates the conditions. And as Jesus said in Mark 11:24, therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it. So say now, I believe the financial miracle has already begun. Even if you don't see it yet, in the spiritual world, it has already begun. If you've made it this far, comment one more time. The miracle has already begun in my life, because when you declare it, heaven responds now. Stay with me, because what began within you is already being activated in the spiritual world. Perhaps you don't see anything different yet, but in the invisible, everything has already begun to move. There is a moment in life when everything changes. And that moment is when you decide to truly believe. As Napoleon Hill said, the turning point happens the instant you decide to believe. And that instant is now. God doesn't need much. He doesn't need perfection. He doesn't need an impeccable track record. He only needs a sincere yes. So say now, yes, I believe. Once again, yes, I believe. Because when you say this with faith, the whole heavens begin to move in your favor. Things begin to align. The doors begin to prepare. Connections are beginning to emerge. Even in silence, even without noise, God is already working. And pay attention to this. The miracle doesn't start big. It starts small. Subtle, almost imperceptible, but it grows. And when it grows, no one can stop it. The Bible says in Luke 6:38, "Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken up, and overflowing." God doesn't work with little. God works with excess, with abundance, with overflowing. But there's a key here, and that key is giving. Even when it seems like there's not enough. Give faith. Give gratitude. Give positive words. Because everything you plant returns multiplied. If you plant doubt, you reap blockage. If you plant faith, you reap favor. If you plant gratitude, you reap abundance. Now take a deep breath. Feel this. The weight is lifting. Fear is losing its power. Your mind is changing. And when the mind changes, life begins to obey. The Bible also says, "In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make everything straight." What was blocked will begin to flow. What seemed impossible will begin to happen. What seemed distant will begin to draw closer. You will see things happening that don't make logical sense. Unexpected money. Doors opening out of nowhere. People appearing at the right time. Not because it's luck, but because you activated your faith. Listen to this very carefully. Prosperity doesn't begin outside. It begins inside. And when abundance exists within you, the outside only reflects it. Now say it forcefully. I am God's financial miracle. Again, I am God's financial miracle. Feel it. This isn't just a phrase, it's a spiritual decree. And now declare, money serves me, because I serve the purpose. This aligns everything, because when purpose comes first, provision follows. And now, the final activation. I attract the unexpected divine with gratitude. Feel the atmosphere change. Feel your faith grow. Feel the peace arriving, because the decree has been made. The portal has been opened. And the flow has already begun. From today onwards, everything that was blocked begins to unlock. Everything that was stopped begins to move. And it won't just be financial. It will be mental. Emotional. Spiritual. Because when God blesses, he blesses completely. Now, before finishing, make one last act of faith. Comment below. It is done. I activate God's financial miracle. And if this message spoke to you, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because here, each video is a seed planted in your life. Now rest, trust, because when you wake up, prepare yourself. The unexpected will begin to happen.